This has been a cool side hustle for me that allows me to make some extra money every month without doing too much work. Selling stock footage. What's it all about? Is it worth it? Can you make decent money doing it? Well, I've been doing it now since 2020. This is everything I've learned, some best practices, how much money I made, and ultimately if I think it's worth it. If you've seen any commercial, any newscast, any video ever, chances are stock footage was used in there somewhere. There are a bunch of different stock footage websites, different agencies, and I'm primarily going to be focusing on one. Stock photo was really big a couple years ago, and then it really died off because people were getting paid like 30 cents per photo, and that wasn't something that was worth it for me by the time I was shooting, because I'm still quite young. That had already happened, so it wasn't really worth it for me, but stock video was still on the rise, so I got into it. This primarily happened during the pandemic while I had some free time and wanted to polish up my video skills, went through my hard drives, wanted to see what I had that I could make a little money off of. At first, I'll be honest, I didn't really know what I was doing, what sold well, what didn't sell well, and I just filmed whatever I thought would be interesting or could make money. And sometimes I did well with it, sometimes I went wrong. And it took me months of uploading clips to actually see any return whatsoever, but eventually the ball got rolling. If you're seeing this video, the chances are you've heard of different stock agencies, stock websites, such as Artlist, such as Storyblocks. Then you have your Pond5, your Shutterstock, your et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What I use is something that spits it out to 5, 6, 7 different of these agencies at one time. This isn't through Artlist, this isn't through Storyblocks, this is blackbox. This was recommended in a Chris Howe video years ago, and this is how I started getting into it. The process is you film your clips, they have to be a minimum of 5 seconds, no audio. You want to depict a story, you want to depict something going on. The more unique the footage, generally, the better it will probably sell. And then you upload it to their server, then you add keywords, titles, all that kind of stuff. I have somebody to deal with all of that for me because I would rather just focus on shooting. So you cut a percentage for them to keyword and tag all the metadata and everything, send it off. And then you just wait and eventually money comes in. Now, it does vary month to month. In the past 3-4 years that I've been doing this, I have made $3,792.74 USD, which I'm in Canada, so our dollar is less than $1 in the US. If we go off the basis of $1 US being about 1.25 Canadian dollars, this is what that would total to. $4,740.93. So that makes it a little better. Suddenly you just made an extra grand. So I've almost made 5K doing this over the past like 3.5 years. A lot of these clips I had already on my hard drive and I just uploaded them. Somebody dealt with all the metadata, I sent them off, whatever. 2, there are clips that I have filmed specifically for stock footage. There are other clips that I have been filming projects, music videos, different commercials, different projects, whatever I'm filming, short films, different films, whatever. Different video projects I'm working on, I'll get some extra shots just to use for stock footage. And it's not something I put a ton of time into. If I really wanted to, I could dedicate more time and energy to it and probably make quite a bit more money doing so, but I have not done that. Also, certain projects I work on, the content is owned by one party or another, and releases and all that, you don't really want to get into that. So a lot of this has been my own personal work or anything falling into that category. The reason I say it's kind of worth it now is it seems every year my total that I take in is starting to almost double. For context, because it shows you a breakdown of each year, in 2022, in US dollars, I made $516.51. So that's like $700 Canadian. Then we go to 2022, where I had $958.81. So just shy of, call it $1,300 Canadian. Suddenly, that was almost a doubling. And so far in 2023, as of October, I have $1,248.30, which would probably equate to roughly $1,500, $1,600. And we still have a couple months left and the month isn't over. Things like subscription earnings, discount packs, stuff like that that are also offered through Blackbox, they don't come in till later in the month, so I don't even have those for September yet, which will come in and up the total by a little bit as well. Based on that, I'm on track to get probably 1,800, maybe 1,900 by the end of this year, which is decent. You end up getting close to $200 a month, $150 a month is what I'm averaging right now. And honestly, for not doing a ton of work, like if I film stock footage, I usually I won't even dedicate a full day to it a month. I'll like get some shots here, get some shots there. If I'm up visiting my family, vacationing, wherever, maybe I'll pull out a camera, get a couple quick shots just as we're going around, throw up a drone, get some shots. It keeps me sharp, it keeps me thinking, it keeps my brain thinking, how can I make this a good shot? And then the more that happens, the better the shots will be, and then the more I make from stock footage, you get the idea. Now, if you're starting out in stock footage, if you're a videographer, it will take longer than you think to make decent money with it. I've also seen people have really good results with platforms like Artlist. I haven't tried uploading footage there, but I do have a large library of it, and maybe from some of my projects that are more catered to Artlist clientele, I'll see about adding some there. If I do, I'll be sure to put out a separate video as to what I would take in from Artlist specifically, but this is just dealing with Blackbox and the agencies that they deal with. I also just like the community. It's everyone is really in it together. We're just here to make some cool visuals and make money doing it. And we're all here to help each other. And yes, I could take home more money if I did all the keywording and metadata myself, but I don't want to, and it takes up a lot of time. I did it early on, and it's something that I'm a better filmmaker than I am a keyworder, metadata-er. So I figure I would rather hand that off to somebody who can take that off my plate, out of my mind, and is probably better at it than me, because they will end up making me more money. So it's a weird cost analysis, but I think it ultimately works for me better this way. And that is ultimately how much I've made selling stock footage, and if I would do it again, because quite honestly, it gives me some extra money coming in, a little bit more to invest with, a little bit more to, oh, we'll go out for dinner one night this week or whatever. Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing if you have not already, as I'll be sharing more different side hustles I've tried a lot of them. I've made money, I've lost money, and this one I've made money on. So there you go. Subscribe if you haven't already to join along this journey with me. Remember, as always, to work hard, rest often, and as always, my friends, I'll see you on the next one.